because I don't even know if we're live at the minute. And check.
That's what I'm just about to do.
Sorry about this, guys.
I've got on it from my one, it says waiting for KTG's file.
Alright, so it's gone to a different one and it's turned this one private. I see it's so it is there. It's just put itself down as unlisted. The difficulty of trying to do all this on a phone. I don't know how to change this, so you have to bear with me. Right, can you do me a favour and check now to change it to public?
Oh, it looks like we're on.
Yeah. Should we share that one out then?
Jesus Christ, I definitely need to get this mental health shit under check. I need to get my body back.
Well, that's one of the things that we're going to cover here. Sorry guys, just getting everything out there at the minute. Had a bit of technical difficulties trying to sort this out. I've got a notification at the top, why? No worries. Right, so we're just getting this shared out everywhere. I'm going to have to edit the description in a bit, unfortunately. So I do apologise about this, guys, just bear with me. Right, so we've got Eddie West on already, it's just making sure that we had some people on. Making sure it's up to date. Right, so guys, we're going to be talking about mental health. We've all suffered with it, we've all had some issues with mental health, whether it be depression, anxiety, PTSD. There's so many forms of mental health and we all suffer from it. I myself have suffered from anxiety, panic attacks, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and that I'm more than happy to go into it, and I think we will do a bit because it's something that needs to be spoken about. There's so many people out there struggling with mental health, and they're struggling on their own and they're struggling silently because they don't know who to talk to, who to turn to, or if they even can turn to anyone. And we all know and we've all said that we're always there if you need us, and that is true. We are always there if you need us, and we're happy to help. But when it comes down to you actually wanting help and actually going for and asking for the help, it's a lot harder than it sounds. You want to say anything as well? Sorry guys.
Don't knock it over.
I'll try not to. Just trying to make a bit of room. So we have got the live chat on as well. So if you do want to leave any messages or ask us any questions. For some reason, on there you've got my logo, but on the actual screen I've got my logo.
Oh well.
You're not even on it either.
Hang on, I'm just trying to sort something out on YouTube at the minute.
So we're looking to, while Sammy's trying to sort her stuff out, we'll wait for her to join in the conversation.
I am here, you know. I was trying to change the name on my YouTube channel, but it just ain't happening yet, so it can flipping wait. But you know the score.
But a lot of things can cause mental health, like depression. It can be grief, it can be loss.
Joe's gonna log in now as well.
Joe.
Oh. Look now. Get everything up.
Yes, I was saying a lot of things cause mental health. A lot of things can trigger depression, anxiety, panic attacks. Where it can be grief, it can be loss, it can be an event that's happened around and that's triggered the fear, if you like, to go out. Something could have happened to a family member, or you could have had something happen to you on a night out, and it can freeze you and it can panic you and stop you from ever wanting to go out there and do it again. It can stop you from actually wanting to know what's going on. So what we're going to do in this video is basically have a chat about mental health. We will be keeping an eye out on your comments as well, so if you do want to write anything in, you're more than welcome to. Please keep sharing this out as well, because we do want to try and get it everywhere. It is something that needs to be spoken about and needs to be spoken more openly about. Yeah, so Sammy, mental health.
Mental health, Jesus. I've suffered with it since I was 15, give or take.
15?
Yeah.
Do you know what triggered yours?
The trigger was me dad going to prison because I was, the usual daddy's girl, and I decided to unearth child abuse. So got double trigger. No, it was definitely my dad going to prison that made it just go completely out of control.
No, with me it was I was 6 or 7 when my grandma died. She was my everything. She was like me. I called her my mama. It's the tattoo I've got on my kids, that teddy at the bottom. That's what she left me. When she died, it just completely changed everything. She was my role model, my everything. She survived domestic violence. Had 3 jobs. Proper worked herself to the bone her entire life and everything, and raised 3 kids practically on her own. Well, my granddad was an alcoholic. So when she went, it was a breakdown in my world around me. So it set me into a spiral of depression.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
And so anything can trigger it at any age, and that's the problem.
I think mine had been probably sat there dormant from being younger, but when you just block everything out for years and then something, no matter what it is, can just snap.
Yeah, I always used to think it was a myth, that until I went past a place where something happened to me, and then it just all came flooding back, and I won't go past there now.
Yeah, is it like what was it? Took a few months, and my mum had to get me some help because I decided to do the most. Well, some people would say it's stupid, some people would say it's not. It happens when I tried to take an overdose. And so I've been in sight. What Winnicott Centre, and then I was shipped to the Ransford building from the age of 16.
This is the thing, I mean, people, like, suicide, it's another thing that people don't talk about. And it needs speaking about, because that's, like, I've been there multiple times where I've tried to overdose myself and mix booze and tablets to try and overdose myself. My neighbours come over when I've had bedcloths fucking knotted together, and my neighbours had to sit here and unknotting them and then fucking make sure I was sleeping in bed.
Yeah.
But it's petrifying, because there's so many people out there that I literally feel like they're at the end of the road. Don't want to go on anymore.
And the worst thing is all they did was fire a box of pills at me.
That's all they do. So the NHS is just a money making scheme.
I was a child, technically, and they threw tablets at me. There was no support mechanism in place. No help from my mum at home for what to do with me. You know, if anything like that happened again, there was nothing.
What would have helped you? What would have been now, knowing who you are now?
Probably someone being there that listened, didn't judge, and didn't fire specific questions and only want them answers, which was something I didn't get until I started getting that actual help through a psychologist who was based at level 4, which is, you know, pretty high for Salford side, in 2012, towards the end of the year. And then that's when things went pear-shaped, because they stopped my childcare for Scarlett, right in the peak of me therapy. No childcare for the baby, peak of therapy. What was I going to do after I'd been discharged from court orders and social services?
No, it's a trap that they
straight into a breakdown with 5 kids at home and with a couple of them having special needs. And then I did the stupidest thing of going and asking them for help. Never again. It was a counsellor that had initially told me I had generalised anxiety disorder when I was in a hostel at the age of 16 and a half. Something the psychologist should have told me at the Ransford building.
It makes you wonder, is it true?
Well, this counsellor, she was doing it off her own back. She was volunteering, and with what she said actually tied in with any assessment I had thereafter. But no matter what I did, any counsellors I seen prior to this particular one in 2012, they couldn't unlock that little trapdoor in the back of my head. And all it took was for that one person to just sit in a room and say, "This is your time. Say what you want to say. You don't have to say anything. Cry if you need to cry. Shout if you need to shout. Do what you need to do to get it out of your system."
That's the thing, it's something so simple, yet it's so scarce everywhere. It's just someone to sit and just listen. Not judge, not put their 2 pence in, not to start debates or an argument, just to listen. Because all you want to do is explain what's going on in your heart and in your mind so that you can process it. It's a soundboard, but someone who can be understanding and not judgmental at the same time. And these places, these people, these services, they need to be accessible to people, but they're not.
Exactly. And when I started seeing her, it tied in within a couple of months of my eldest daughter's dad passing away. So I was trying to deal with the grief of that and trying to stay the strong person for my daughter.
Yeah.
Because she was grieving. And then at the time the therapy stopped because they decided not to extend the childcare for Scarlett. Obviously within weeks, when you're at the peak of discussing something that's so intense, that they had actually stated in 2010, if I open that can of worms, Their words were, I'd have to open it, let it explode, and they'd have to lid it all in the same time. But that didn't happen. I opened it and it started to explode. So throughout the whole, more or less the whole of 2013, I was what you could call an eggshell. I was there physically for my kids, but not emotionally.
The shell of who you used to be.
Yeah. And luckily for me, I knew it weren't right for my kids. So went and asked for help. It actually took them months and months before they actually decided, oh yeah, we need to intervene. But you know why they intervened? Because they thought my second eldest had harmed a brother one morning. Because he had a seizure in school and I was already in for referral for epilepsy. So he got ambulanced in from school. School had rang me and I said, get the ambulance rang, he needs to go. So he goes to the hospital and explain, that morning there'd been an altercation. Siblings fight, that's what they do. But she didn't hurt him. Yeah, she gave him a little shove, but they made out she'd hit his head off the concrete floor. No, she hadn't. And they tried to imply that she'd hurt him and she'd caused a seizure. So social services met me at the hospital, didn't they? Like they did. They thought they had the pound signs at that point. And no, hospital even confirmed, no, he's already under investigation for epilepsy. His sister's not done this, which is what I'd already stated. But I noticed something back in 2010 when they first tried to take my kids when I separated from two middle ones' dad. They were initially going for removal and then found out I was pregnant with Scarlett. So then they no longer wanted the other four. Lucas had too many needs, even though he was a baby. And I was only, I think it was about 2 months gone with Scarlett. So they saw it as pound signs, but by the time we got into the court hearing, and it was just before my 12 weeks gone, they decided, they were going for a supervision order. They wanted the cargo I was carrying, not the others.
So what did that do to your mental health? I mean, with me, they kind of played with it a bit, and I know they did,
yeah, they played the long game.
Tell us what it did to your mental health before all this, during all this, and after all this.
Before going into the therapy, because they said I had to go into the therapy, otherwise I'd lose my kids, even though they'd had a report stating I was not to do it while my kids were little. But when they give you the choice, it's that or your kids, what do you do? Stupidly, I wouldn't tell you, and if I had the time over again, I'd tell them where to go. But prior to that, my mental health was never perfect, but it never affected my kids.
Just an everyday
bodily
function for you, everyday normal issue.
Something, I'd got used to, dealt with, Every now and again I'd have a blip, but it was handled. But I noticed that the blips happened more when I was in the domestic violence relationship because of everything that was going on.
Explain a bit what you mean by blip.
I'd be made to feel like I was worthless and that I wasn't wanted, wasn't needed, even though I had my kids. And
so just the emotional side of it, just the emotional feeling, bad depression side of it.
Yeah, and luckily, even though because of me, I'm going to I can't do that. I've got kids who need their mum. And
they're your reason with living.
yeah, that's it.
I know that feeling because before social got involved with our life, I already suffered with post-traumatic stress from when Kieran, my late fiance, was mowed down in front of me, and that was while I was pregnant with my son. The day I turned 20 weeks pregnant as well. And I mean, you've seen by my life, I've got dual carriageway right outside. What always set my PTSD off was flashing lights, sirens, and ambulances. That was all that set them off. But it was only a case of at night when everyone else was asleep and it was quiet in the house, you just see them or hear them go past the window, and I'd get a bit upset and a bit emotional. Never in front of my kids, because every time kids are there, they're your rocks, they're your everything. You never see you break, because you've got to be their hero and you've got to be their protector, the one who never breaks.
Exactly.
Social just use that to play with you, like in your contacts, where you're not allowed to tell them that you love them, you're not allowed to tell them that you miss them, you're not allowed to tell them that you want them home.
Oh, they did play the long game with me, especially when they were after Scarlett. Who in the right mind's not gonna go after a super cute blonde-haired, blue-eyed baby? But you know, she was 3.5 when they managed to get the mitts on her. But when in September 2013, took the kids away to Pontins for a few days. It was a break that we all needed, and I went with my mate and her kids. The last family holiday me and my kids actually had. And I got a phone call. I'd already been speaking to Katie's dad to ask if he'd take her for a few months. You know, give her a change. She's still been in the same school, I'd still see her regularly, that sort of stuff, and I thought it'll give her a break. At the time, we didn't even know she had a genetic condition. So Katie was struggling, but at the same point, because I was struggling, she was getting the blame for a hell of a lot of stuff that, when you look back in retrospect, could have been handled better. But they said to me that if I didn't hand Katie over to her dad, they were going to remove my kids. Because I was determined on not giving up on any of my kids, including Katie. And I was like, what do I do? And they'd actually gone and said this to my old solicitors, but then I had the audacity to deny it in my PLO meetings. So I was like, right, well, I'll let Katie go over, because I thought it'll give a few months, things calm down, plus slowly start integrating her back home. So we agreed to do it for 6 months. Now, I'd managed to get back into therapy as well, because Scarlett actually got her 15 hours free at this point. And just as I was about to complete the therapy, they decided, and I started getting introducing Katie back home to me. So instead of me getting her just on the Friday from school and having her the weekend, went to the Thursday and so on. And when that started happening, they knew I was actually starting to get back on track. They didn't like it, so they thought they'd find another way. And on one occasion, Megan and Lucas had an appointment, and usually when them two have appointments on the same day, it lasts hours. And Megan was one of them. Even if she was ill, she wanted to be in school. And you know, fair play to her. It's got her where she is. You know, her determination. But we had a bit of a hissy fit. And it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon by the time we got out Pendleton Gateway. Needless to say, you can imagine Megan wasn't impressed. So I said, right, we'll go grab you something to eat, we'll go get your sisters. Yeah. That's a thing for me. And she had a little kick off. She wanted sweet snacks, and I'm like, no, when you get a sandwich, or, you know. Because obviously being where we were, we'd miss lunch and everything as well. And she kicked off and she went to tipple a display. So I unfortunately double pram, and I grabbed her by her hand and went, right, that's it, we're going. And I took her straight out the store, which is what a parent would do. And I walked straight round to the school, and I still had her by the hand because she was trying to pull away and everything. And And she was 10. What was I going to do? Have her on a wrist harness? I mean, come on. And got to school. I broke down and told school what had happened. And I said I was more concerned at the fact I might have put a red mark on her hand when I've had hold of her hand. It was a faint pink mark. I rang social services. Now,
something that they wouldn't have even noticed about you hadn't pointed it out.
Social workers came round and Megan was like, I don't want to speak to Nicola. This is Nicola Schofield, the person that falsified documents. I don't want to speak to her. I'll speak to the other one, but I'm not speaking to her. Now, she told them herself, face to face. I didn't say it. How can you force a 10-year-old child to speak to a social worker?
That's the other thing. And the other thing as well, which the social are doing at the minute, which, well, not at the minute, but have been doing for a while, is causing mental health in kids as well.
Yeah.
By brainwashing kids, by removing their support networks, their foundations, their family. They remove their entire identity bit by bit by bit. And because while they're removing their identity away from them, they're also weaning them off the parents as well and their other siblings, so they're having less and less support until they're isolated. And then it's a choice of fight or submit. With them, you either give up or you keep fighting for a while until you can't fight anymore, because these are children. You know what I mean? These aren't adults, either. These are children that are being brainwashed, manipulated, and mentally abused and scarred by these so-called professionals.
Oh,
Sharon Binks is on as well now. So hi, Sharon.
Hi. Megan said to the other social worker, which was Esther Tepe, she said, I'll speak to you. So she did, and she showed her hand. Well, the pink mark was practically gone. Now, they left a little bit later on, getting the babies to bed. I'd just put Scarlett up, and they turned back up at my door with plainclothes police officers. After the amount of times social services were sending the police to mine to raid when I was living in the flat, the kids were scared of the police. Because they'd turn up in the middle of the night, tip the beds and everything up, looking for somebody that wasn't bloody there.
Like you seen like they did in mine a few months. Well, yeah, that's
important. The social workers had actually told the police that I'd assaulted my daughter. There was no food in the house, no bedding on the kids' beds or anything. Now, considering Lucas was on special dietary needs, I had to have stuff in the house. And so the police come out. The only thing I was guilty of was the fact that my washer had broke, so I had 3 weeks worth of washing in my kitchen. And this is why my nan said my kids had too many clothes, which in a way was a good thing to be.
Yeah. When it comes to kids, you can never have too many clothes.
And obviously with me going through the breakdown, the house was upside down. And the police come round. There was Lucy and Lucas in the living room with 2 social workers. I was pinned against the wall in my hallway, and Megan was against my radiator in the hallway by 2 police officers. And Megan told them exactly the same thing and showed them around. So the social services wanted the police to do an emergency police protection order that night on all my kids. And they went, we're not removing these kids. They do not need removing. She went, she goes into me, because she said to the social worker, she went, well, you've lied because she's not assaulted her daughter. She went, how can you say that's assault when she hasn't assaulted her? Goes in my kitchen, checks my cupboard, my freezer. She drags the social worker in there. She went, you've lied again. Freezer's full, fridge is full, cupboard's full. Milk stocked up. Goes upstairs. She went, why is she saying there's no bedding on the kids' beds? Didn't you tell me? Meg used to wet the bed. So I'd stripped the bed and had it up airing, and I had the clean bedding ready to go on it. And she's like, well, she called back up. She went, don't sit there and tell me there's no bedding on these kids' beds. And she opened up my airing cupboard as well. She went, and don't tell me there's no spare bedding neither. She went, as long as there's a quilt or a cover and a pillow on the beds, it's bedding. Obviously they had bedding, actual proper bedding on, but And so needless to say, the police weren't impressed because it wasted their time. She did say to me, though, she went, I'll come back and see you in 2 days, because she said, I want to see this, this and this done, which was just a bit of tidying up, which needed to be done anyway. And she come back out and she went, these kids don't need to be removed, you just need the right help. Because she'd actually bothered them for not giving me the support that was needed. And she a fair play to her now. She actually put that in her report for court as well. And then obviously a week later, social services went to see the kids in school. Just after they'd been handed me a court bundle. And they went and see me 3 older girls individually. Bearing in mind, Kate was living with her dad. And she's going to after school club after school. Got in, said to me kids that the following week they were being removed and they were getting a new mummy and daddy. Well, in Megan's case, a new mum. She come out and gone, no, Lucy come out of class first because she was in the lower part. She come out bawling her eyes out, telling me what had been said. And asked the teachers and the TA, and they said, should me and you? Yeah, because we've been picking up the pieces all afternoon. One of them had actually walked past and heard them. She shouldn't have been, that social worker should not have been with my daughter on her own. I told them not to go into the school.
Unfortunately, that's what they do though. Yeah. They are well known for taking kids out, even taking kids out of schools away from parents.
They went and did it with Megan the same day. Megan come out 15 minutes later with a big poster in her office. They'd gone as far as saying to Kate that she was also getting a new dad. So not only had she had to go to live with her dad and come away from her mum, she was being told she was going to lose us both. Why would you do that to a child that is already suffering psychologically? Why would you do it to any child?
No, there's no excuse for it.
They turned around and said that I told Kate he was walking home from school. He was in after school club. I went to school the following day, turned around and said straight, I went, you know what? You either agreed to keep her away from my kids, and I'm pulling the kids from school now. And they argued with me at first. I went, look, I'm telling you now, unless she has a court order, she goes nowhere near my kids. So obviously they had to stick to it. And obviously then, a week later, obviously we had the court hearing and they got the removal. But it was the day they came, we got the judge gave the order at 12:15. I had till 1:30 to get home and pack the kids' stuff up because they were at a children's centre thing. She brought them back. It was either 4 social workers or 3 disc workers or the other way round. The four children. They were gone from my house by 1:45. And yet I was told at court I would have the whole afternoon.
Were you offered any help while they were going through this? With removing the kids, and after they'd removed the kids, did they offer you any form of help or anything for the fact that they've stolen your offspring?
No, not a dicky bird. Luckily my psychologist gave me an extra 2 weeks on the thing because I told her the week before, when the week was due to finish, they were taking me to court the following week. So she gave me an extra 2 weeks, which she shouldn't have done, but she did. But no, they offered me nothing.
And 2 weeks isn't exactly much. That's what 2 sessions? That's not even 2 weeks worth of sessions. That's just 2 sessions, a week.
Yeah,
and
that was nothing.
I mean, we all know
but
as adults.
They had to drag my daughter out, my eldest one. She legged it up in her bedroom, barricaded herself in the room. They forced the bedroom door open. So she legged it out, went round the back to her mate's, which is where my mate lives as well. And her best mate's mum come round because one of the disc workers went round and collared her around there. So she come back. At the end of the day, they were more or less forced a 10-year-old out of her house.
There's no excuse for that.
They didn't need 7 people for 4 children either. All in front of everyone on the street. It was disgusting. And then they had the audacity to phone me and say they were coming the following morning to collect the rest of the uniforms.
Yeah, they were a bit cheeky with that. They did that when my son took my son and then told me that I had to go home and pack him a bag of stuff and a social worker would come and collect them the next morning.
And they took most of the stuff on the day they took them. But then they come back for the rest of the uniform. What? They were coming back with one set of uniform for Megan and went. One set. And do you really think she wears one set for the whole week? I don't think so.
Is that water? We've got a message come through. Well, it's a suggestion, more or less, for us to look at and to cover down the line. So it'd be interesting to find out how many suicide attempts or successes have there been after the implementation of forced adoption. I mean, I can imagine that number already because I've lost a few of my good friends because of all this at the minute. And we've got, I think Jane's watching as well. I'm not too sure if she's watching or not, but we have got comment box up actually on the video as well. So if you do want to comment, and you can comment, you're more than welcome to. If you've got any comments about mental health, any experiences you've had, personal or otherwise, or you want to ask us a question about it, then go ahead, write on in. We're both watching the phones, so we're both watching to see if there's any comments coming in. Anything new again? Jane is watching. So everybody's watching. I'm going to leave you with Sammy for a minute, so she's going to tell you a bit more about the story, and then we're coming back to the mental health topic.
Whoa. I did not say anything about speaking to the camera.
You don't have to speak necessarily to the camera. You can speak at your phone, or you can speak to my empty seat.
Speak to your... Look, right, I know I'm flipping gaga, but...
You can speak to the empty seat for like 2 minutes, it's fine. You'll survive.
I'm going to count those 2 minutes.
Guys, cheers Sammy on.
Ha ha, you're so funny, you know.
Sammy.
We'll be singing Katie next. Oh my days. Oh.
Don't make me shout questions down the fucking stairs.
Hey?
Don't make me shout questions.
Just out of curiosity, how the flipping hell did we get onto this subject today?
Oh, what?
How did we even get on this subject today? Oh, please tell me that's not a spider. No, it's not. I'm seeing things again.
What do you mean?
I thought I saw a spider.
Oh, what was it?
I'll tell you now in a minute. What is it?
Right, sorry about it, guys. She's so boring.
It's just a bit of web.
Ooh! Comments are actually coming up on the screen. Underneath a load of screens.
Joe, it's not just my little girl, it's supposed to be my son and one of my older daughters. So it should be Lucy, Lucas and Amelia, if Lucy turns up.
So as Sammy bellowed up the stairs then, what is it that brought this subject up today? Well, that was actually all of us, to be honest, that brought the subject up on our way down to Blackpool to come to someone's aid.
Yeah, blame Mr. Woods for it.
We have a comment come in saying there is no help or support for... Ooh. For what?
For... Meant to be, there is no help or support for doting families after children are removed. I was training to be a counsellor to try and help families who have been mentally blocked due to ongoing torture from CSC. Which meant to support loving families. It's true. There is nothing out there.
Loving families. Yeah, there isn't anything out there at the minute. I mean, there are so many people out there, and it's not just forced adoption neither. There's grief that gets a lot of people, and not having anyone to talk to when they lose someone that they care about, whether it's a relative, whether it's family, whether it's an old friend, or even an old school friend. The thing is, we know how to handle grief. As adults, we know how to handle grief. Children don't. they've not learnt all their emotions, they've not learnt how to handle their emotions or even what their emotions are properly. I mean, that's something that we're still learning as adults.
It's like, they thought they were going to get me when my dad passed away because Amelia was only like 7 weeks old. I mean, yeah, I've still not gone through the grieving process for that. But when I had to tell Lucy and Lucas about their granddad passing away, Lucy had been asking to see my dad for 18 months. So she'd been asking to see her granddad for 18 months. And when I told her about it, she broke. And then to be told in the July 2018, which was only a few months later, that hers and Lucas's dad had passed away as well. So not only did she lose her granddad who she loved, she lost her dad. So all the questions she's got roaming around nil led because of social services, she'll never get the answer for.
No.
And it's because they start sticking stuff in the bed which puts them back under Starlock, back under cams, and makes them question everything.
I mean, what got me the most about it when it was me was when they took Liam twice, and the first time they took him, we actually got him back the first time. Order came in, report from the doctors and everything that said that the witness statement that we had explaining the marks on his arms fit perfectly, so it had nothing to do with us, it wasn't the nursery. And then got him back, a week later they found out I was pregnant. Different ball game when they find out you're pregnant and there's a whole new bunch of fresh meat there for them.
Yep.
So then it starts again, the making me jump through hoops to try and prove that I'm good enough and I'm worthy enough. They even got me going to 2 separate jobs while going to contact 4 days a week. I mean, do you know how hard it is to find a job that'll take you on when you've got contact 4 days a week?
Right, yeah.
These 3 mornings, you can't do it because of your contact, and then on a full day you can't do it at all because you've got to go to York for your contact. And then, I mean, I was doing a night job as well as doing telesales, and it beats you down. Bit by bit, it chips away at you, so you don't realise how much you're actually losing. Like when you go outside and you've got like really fine rain, you know, the one where you can hardly see it, you can just feel it, and within 5 minutes you're soaked.
Yeah.
Because it's even though it's dead fine, it's not much. It is when it's all there together, and it's all just.
Zach said, "Hey, just got on. What have I missed?" You want to do a catch up?
No, I don't want to do a catch up. You've missed 44 minutes of entertainment.
You will have to watch it yourself.
That'll be a rewind. But no, it is something that a lot of us suffer from. Oh, hang on, it's Jennifer. But Jennifer said, my youngest son witnessed his dad having a massive heart attack in the car, and for years he never got any counselling despite myself trying to get him some. I had PR though. I said I had no say, local authority ignored me. I mean, that's one of the main things that they do. If you've got any existing mental health, or your kids have got something that they need help with, or someone they need to talk to, they'll use that for their own gains. They'll use it to chip away at you, to chip away at your children, to chip away at the bond. Because obviously children don't understand their emotions, they don't understand how to regulate or even what emotions actually feel like, to understand which emotion's which. I mean, adults get it mixed up with frustration especially, and loss and grief. So children are just going to take it out and lash out on anyone. I mean, you see it with adults where they lash out on their other half, or they lash out with their parents because something's frustrating them, and because other people are trying to help and it's not the way that it's working, or you don't understand that you need help at that time, they lash out.
And they lash out at the closest friends, the friends that they can actually trust. And, you know, it can make you do stupid things. And mental health, it can also get you to a point where you're saying stuff that isn't true. And making it so convincing to other people that it's true even though it's not.
In what sense?
A person can be, how can I put it, I've seen it in a couple where they've convinced themselves that something's true, so that's the story they tell.
Yeah, so they basically believe their own lies.
Yeah. And they tell it so convincingly that other people believe it.
Yeah, only to an extent though, because they will believe it up until they start to see it for themselves, or up until they talk to them more than once and it clicks on them. You click onto, hang on a minute, that piece doesn't quite fit there.
Yeah, because there's always something that's not quite right each time it's told.
Yeah, in those senses you can tell. I mean, one of the biggest issues we've got with the campaign in regards to mental health is trying to figure out if a parent's unstable, or a family member's unstable because of what happened to, because of the children being removed by social, or if they were like that previous.
Exactly.
Zachary wants a heads up. So I'll shout out, sorry.
Oh, poor Zach.
Zachary.
Oh yeah, oh Zachary.
Yes.
Oh, Zachary wants a shout out. Hey Zach.
So not to go too far off the mental health topic because I do want to do the video on. They're artists, social services in a sense of creating mental illness or mental health.
Yeah.
Where there is none, if they will either pharmaceutically change that.
Yeah.
And drug you up to the point where you either convince yourself that you have an issue or now you do.
So I got discharged from the mental health team, did a course, did take control course in 2014. Was it 2015? It was one of the two. And then I had a review 6 months later, and then a review 12 months after the course. Got discharged. And didn't need to go back under him. And obviously when I got pregnant with Amelia, I had on the side of caution, I got myself referred back to mental health midwife team at the hospital. You know, just to make sure everything stayed on an even keel. Because normally I'd come off of medication, but with Amelia I didn't, I just cut it down. But they actually said I did the right thing, because normally I'd go a bit.
Jennifer's put a couple of comments in here saying, I heard my 10-year-old son stabbed the teacher. They blame me and my mental health even though he was removed shortly after he turned 3. Foster parents told him he should be angry at me and not teachers, or even them. When they chose not to listen to him, he acts out in frustration. My son won't talk to me of any challenges he faces now. I'm sure he is punished into silence. It might be his way of protecting himself.
Yeah.
Because there's only so much a child can take, and if he's 10 now and he was taken shortly after he turned 3, this is years and years of being force-fed information about being force-fed words or sentences or phrases, and it could be his way of protecting himself and protecting you at the same time. Children don't seem to realise it's not their job to try and protect the parents, it's the parents' job to protect them. If the parent can't protect their kids or doesn't want to protect their kids, then they shouldn't have had them.
It's like they used Amelia as a scapegoat to grind Megan down even further. Because she's coming up 16 January, they took her just after she was 10. And our bond wasn't separable or anything. But the minute I gave birth to Amelia in April 2018, that was it, everything switched.
And so Jennifer's comment there has just upset me a bit. Jennifer says that her contacts have greatly reduced and she's lucky if she gets to see her son 3 to 4 times a year for an hour. That isn't enough time for a child to see their kid.
For a parent to see their kid.
Yeah, parents see their kid and a child to see their parent. That's not enough time at all. I mean, criminals get to see their children more than 3 or 4 times a year. Although, for anyone who isn't aware, 3 to 4 times a year when it comes to family courts and social services is a great amount of contact.
I get supposed to get 6 times a year for 3 hours with my kids.
None.
I've not seen Megan since I gave birth. Since before I gave birth? Well, sort of half an hour in the August of a meeting with her, that was it. Which she told me she didn't want to meet the baby because of everything that went on with Scarlett, which I understood. But there was no reason for them not to set up separate contact. And as I got told off him the other day, you know, she doesn't want to see me, she doesn't want to speak to me. That's not my child. She would never have said that about me. And if she had an issue with me, she would have said it to my face. But, you know, what can you do when they're sat there feeding your kids stuff? And they're sat there saying, oh, your mum's done this, your mum's done that. When, prior to me having the baby, Megan knew full well I hadn't done any of that. So it just shows what they can do when something does happen, you know.
Sharon's stated in the comments that the authorities will never take responsibility for what they have done. Obviously, to your child, Jennifer, but in children in general as well, or what they've put them through. It's true, but the only thing we can do is we're basically trying to encourage other people to learn their rights, know what they can and can't do, what they're entitled to, what they're not entitled to do.
Yeah.
Open up more and speak to people more about their mental health as well, because that would have helped us a lot going through all this court process. If we had more people around us, more support around us, it would have been a lot easier for us going through all this, and we would have had a better chance from the beginning. We would have had a chance from the beginning, because the way they work, the way they go, we have no chance.
Do you know what made me sick though with them? The day that they took my older kids, they actually turned around and said to my eldest daughter in the hallway, "It's only going to be for a few months while your mum gets better." They had no intentions of returning my kids.
No.
I knew full well once they got them out that door, that was it. And I knew they were going to stop at nothing to get an adoption order on Scarlett.
Unfortunately, that's one of the things that we face, is we have to watch it happen, knowing what's going to happen and knowing what is happening.
If I had known then the stuff that I know now, I probably would have stood a better chance at stopping Scarlett getting adopted.
They would never would have got kids out the door if we'd have known.
Exactly, they'd have never got near my house.
If we'd have known back then what we do now, they'd have never even got in the house. They'd never even got in the way, and our mental health wouldn't have been put on the line as much as it has done.
Because they never bothered with my kids until I got with Daniel, which was Lucy Lucas's dad. He had a previous history of domestic violence. Had I not got with him, chances are they would have never been at my door anyway, because me and him would never have come to blows. But that's not to say they still wouldn't have found another reason, because they still could have gone down the whole mental health route. You know? And as it goes, you know, anyone that defends you, whether it's, because my opposition team was great, anyone that wanted to do supporting statements wasn't allowed. And if they've got nothing to hide, why shut that out?
Because it doesn't fit their agenda and their narrative.
And then when you go and look at what they did with my youngest daughter, you know, I was completely out of it. Hadn't even held her, and then at 8 hours old, midwife Hurst comes in, turns around and says, "Right, you need to stop feeding your daughter while I take her for a newborn examination." Baby's dad was sat there, and you know, didn't think anything of it. Who's not going to be tired after 37 hours of labour? And 20 minutes later, now prior to this, she had congestion on her face because of the rapid delivery at the end, but there was no bruises. She brings her back 20 minutes later telling me there's bruises all over my daughter, on her shoulders and on her arms and stuff. And obviously, you know, because she wasn't feeding properly and that anyway, they had to get NICU staff involved. And, you know, they did do, you know, all sorts of tests and everything. But when we went down to NICU that night, because she was under the blue light anyway, went down that night and the following morning, and obviously we had her out from under the light, there was no bruises on her. So where they got their pictures of, there was pictures of bruises, but where did they get it from? Because they weren't on my daughter. Apart from a blue linear bruise, which was, I a blue line, which is on one of my pictures I've got. But then when you fast forward to my trial, because bear in mind I had me at home for 9 months, and the reason they took her was they wanted mine and Dad's mobile phones. There was no criminal offence against us. There was nothing, so they had no legal right to take the phones. And they decided to take her because they couldn't get them. Now, I'd lost mine because they were flipping threatening to take her out, and I asked them for a few days while my mum got me a better phone, so then they could have took mine. But they decided they were going back to court on the following week to remove her, so they ripped her from my arms in front of everyone. And it must have been a good day for Salford that day because I weren't the only one in there they were doing it to.
I got walked through the entire estate. And you say that, obviously you seen on there, they parked up at the top of the road on the next estate over, and they made me walk her through the estate up there while all my neighbours were outside, and walk back without her. And Sharon's just made a very, very good comment here. Sharon said, we need all those professionals who have left their jobs because they have too much empathy to be a part of what is happening, to join our movement and put their skills to good use fighting the system. I 100% agree with that. That is a very, very valid thing, and we do have a couple of professionals that do come on board with us and that do support us, but ultimately a lot of ex-social workers get silenced.
Yeah. It's like social services decided to ring. They had a strategy meeting at the hospital when Amelia was 2 days old. And then on the Friday morning when she was 3 days old, the PPO order went in place. Now me and Steve was sat on NICU. I was still in the hospital anyway. Sat on NICU, and at 11:25 gets a phone call saying I had to go back to the ward. We were waiting for the consultants to discuss the baby. But for some reason the consultants didn't come round that morning on NICU. Now they're normally round between 9:30 and 10:30. Didn't come round that morning. Gets back, and I wasn't allowed back up to NICU. I was told I had to wait on the ward for the social worker. They had a psychiatrist come and see me. Now my mental health team weren't supposed to see me until the baby was 6 weeks old. So they breached my plan. And they were trying to see if I had any thoughts of harming my child. I'm like, what?
Reminds me of that lady that came up to us when we set up camp.
Yeah.
Outside Salford Town Hall and says, well, if it's my child, that doesn't mean I'm the only one who has a right to hurt it and to murder it. And we told her I had to tell her to jog on. He turned out to be a social worker, and they were the views of a social worker but the way they were wording it, they were looking for a specific type of answer.
And they never got it.
They never got any of it, but they were looking for either or, and only giving 2 negative answers, so that either way they could either record you or make you sound like a monster or something you weren't.
Yeah.
And she just kept repeating over and over again that if it's her child, she has the right to abuse them. And what's better, the parent abusing their kid or a stranger abusing their kid? And I think 5 of us shouted at her and told her, none. No one should abuse a child. No one should abuse another person.
Exactly.
Whether it's physically, emotionally or mentally, no one should have to suffer that.
I remember they put the PPO in place, so that meant accompanying my daughter for 3 days. So obviously I didn't want to stick around the hospital, I wanted out. Police come in and everything at 4:30 in the afternoon, knowing full well it's a Friday afternoon, I couldn't do nothing. And slapped this on me, said that so along the lines of for the child's welfare or something. But they've gone off what the social worker had told them, which was Julie Murphy. He didn't speak to me or Dad first, didn't request the CCTV footage. At this point I didn't know there was CCTV footage on the ward. And I was in a bay with 4 other parents. Now, we fast forward to the trial, which started on the 23rd of April, or was it 22nd of April? It was one of the two. Didn't finish till we got the judgment, we got the final hearing on the 20th of June. During the trial, midwife Hurst was on the stand. Why lie under oath if you've got nothing to hide? She turned round and said that I was with her in the examination room. I couldn't even walk, let alone get off the bed. I never left the actual bay till gone 10 o'clock that night. And had they checked the CCTV footage, they would have seen her leave with my daughter on her own, bring about 20 minutes later. And they would have also seen that my baby's dad was there. But as the judge put in a judgment, she prefers the statement of the professionals above the parents and witnesses.
But that's the thing you hear all the time.
Yeah.
I prefer the judgment of the professionals. It's not about what the judge prefers, but unfortunately in the family court it is.
Yeah.
You know how good or bad your case is going to go that day by what mood the judge is in.
Exactly.
Our kids' lives depend on if the judge is having a good day or a bad day. If the judge got out of bed on the wrong side or he missed his fucking Cheerios that morning.
Well, those 3 days I was separated from her, I couldn't eat or anything. And then on Monday, when she was 6 days old, they were trying to force me to sign a Section 20, blackmailing me with contacts. I was like, no, take me to court. So we did 3 days in court for the judge to turn around and say, I am not removing this child. You know, now, basically.
Just got loading time. I'm going for a drink. Let us know if you're back, guys, because it just started loading then.
Well, we've got movement on the cameras.
Sorry guys, I'm just grabbing a drink and gasping.
Although anyone watching this, they'll have fun because they wanted to know my story in the first place.
I know we've gone
They've
from
just
mental
got
health.
fixed.
We've gone from mental health to Sammy's story. I'm gonna have to change the title.
I had a figure until my mental health plummeted again. The stress of social services.
I had meat on my bones. I had meat on my bones before I had fucking my mental health went to shit.
I'm telling you, I'll swap you. You can have some of mine. It's fine. Bad when you had to get your maternity wear back out.
Oh, well, I've already had to do that before. So, should we go wrap up?
Yeah.
So guys, we are going to wrap up then. So what started off as a video about mental health and talking about mental health, we've spoke about mental health and Sammy's story, which, to be honest,
Bits of it.
I'm actually really glad that we've done that though, because we needed to get talking about what happened to you as well, because people want to hear your story, and you've always stood in the background and let everyone else have their say, let everyone else's story get heard. So I'm glad we've started.
Well, that ain't going to happen now, considering they decided to refuse me permission to appeal my daughter's case.
Doesn't matter, it's not, the story's not over. It's not done, it's not over. I've got my semicolon for a fucking reason.
Good,
So
just starting.
So, yeah, so thank you everybody for coming and joining us on the topic of mental health, and for coming and finding out more about Sammy and her story.
I'm not just a loon bot.
You're not using that account though, while you feel blog, you're using Sammy Nero, or are you using that one? You're using that one, aren't you?
Yeah, but I'm just going to change the name on it.
No worries. If you want to follow more about Sammy's story, Sammy's going to be doing her own personal private vlogs on United by State Trauma, but the name will be changing to Sammy Nero, so do keep an eye out for it, and if you've not subscribed already, go over and subscribe. Same with her as well. If you've not been here before, subscribe, because yeah, we're going to be doing vlogs and everything and taking a deeper look into everyone's lives, not just ours but multiple other people as well. Also, if you check out Sharon Binks' channel as well, I'm not so sure if her video's gone up, but I know there is a video going up there today, as well as Zach, Fathers Failed by the State, and this one that you're already on as well as Children Matter. So thank you everybody. Thank you everybody so much for joining us. Thank you everybody in the chats as well. Please remember to like and share, and I'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Have fun guys, and remember, love yourself and take care of everyone.